We are 4 weeks into conference play and 45 days from the West Coast Conference Tournament at the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. The commissioner of the WCC, Jamie Zaninovich, is on the line with us. And welcome, Jamie, to True Blue. Hey, Jamie.
Hey, Dave. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well. Thank you for giving us some time here on this holiday. Biggest surprise so far in WCC play, what would it be?
Honestly, the biggest surprise is how many injuries we've had. We got a lot of banged-up teams that have had guys either, struggling with injuries but playing a little bit, like in the case of, for BYU fans, Eric Mika or other folks that have just been out. Gonzaga's had a bunch of injuries all the way down the line, LMU. So we're getting some of those guys healthy. I don't think it's hurt our competitiveness at all because I think this is top to bottom as competitive as we've seen the league in a long time. We have 3 teams in the top 51 of the RPI and 4, really almost 5 in the top 100. So half your league, top 100 RPI for us, that's a strong showing. So I think the injuries and then the overall top to bottom depth of competitiveness are probably the 2 biggest surprises.
Is that parity really that good? I know as a commissioner you kind of want that, but it's also no one's in the top 25, which is unusual for the WCC at this time of the year, and things are pretty wide open. Do you like that, or do you need some boys up higher?
Well, I think there's sort of a short-term, long-term element to it. I mean, long-term, the fact that we have, no teams outside the 200 RPI right now, and every team over 500 is great for our conference. We may not be quite as strong at the top this year, but it would be hard to be stronger at the top considering we had a number 1 team in the country last year. So, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to top 25 rankings, although they're nice to have. In any conference, those are going to slip a little bit, or any deep conference, those are going to slip a little bit once you get into league play because when you go on the road in any conference, but especially in a good conference, good teams are going to take losses, and we see that nationwide.
All right, Blaine Fowler's down the hall, so I'm going to have you be our lead analyst for a moment. Let's preview BYU at Portland Thursday in the Northwest. If there's a surprise team in the league, you got to look to the Pilots having knocked off Gonzaga. What do you think Thursday?
Well, Portland's one of those teams last year that had just a rash of injuries, and then it showed up on the scorecard for them. But they're obviously playing well. They beat Gonzaga, obviously, for the first time in a long time a couple weeks ago, and then got a split on the road in L.A., which is split on the road anywhere in our league, I think, is very difficult to do. So I think it'll be an interesting matchup. Portland's got a lot of size, as does BYU. Portland's a very disciplined man defensive team, and obviously BYU has a lot of firepower on offense. So it should be a great game. And that Northwest road trip with Portland and Gonzaga back-to-back has never been more difficult, I don't think.
Let's go to Saturday night. When the schedule comes out, the first thing Cougar fans do is they look to see where Gonzaga is on the slate, and are they in Spokane or are they in Provo first? Well, Saturday night is up in Spokane, the Cougars and the Bulldogs. What do you see here as the man in charge of the league with the top dogs going at each other?
Yeah, see maybe, 200-plus points scored. I say jokingly, because in conference play, usually scores come down a little, but I think this is going to be a track meet, These are 2 teams that are not afraid to push the ball up and down the court and have the players to do it. I think it'll be a great game for television. I think right now we're 3rd in the conference and 3rd in the nation as a conference in scoring and still number 1 in 3-point shooting. So, these are 2 of the better offensive teams and one of the best offensive countries in their leagues in the country. So I would expect it to be very competitive. Gonzaga's getting healthy, and I know BYU is too. That's what you want, your team's at full strength. And I think they'll put on a good show for the national audience on ESPN.
Let's look to Las Vegas and some changes coming up for March in the WCC Tournament. You invited Pacific in, so you had to adjust some things. What will fans notice the most?
Well, we have a different format this year. In the past, we've given a double bye to our number 1 and 2 seeded teams and a single bye to 3 and 4. With the 10 schools, we're going to the more quote-unquote traditional format, one that they've probably saw historically in the Mountain West and in the Pac-12 or Pac-10 at the time, where on Thursday for the men, we'll have 10, 7, 8, 9 seed games. And then we'll have a true quarterfinal day on Saturday where if seeds hold, one will play 8, 2, 7, 3, 6, 4, 5. I think it's going to be really interesting, especially considering the parity that we just talked about in the conference. I think you're going to have a number of teams coming in that feel like they can make a deep run to the championship, and I think that quarterfinal Saturday, both the quarterfinal Friday for the women and the quarterfinal Saturday for the men, there's just going to be a lot of energy in the building. And I think you'll see a high level of basketball being played.
One thing it also does is the championship game is now not on Monday night. It's on Tuesday because you got the semis on Monday, separated by no play day on Sunday. So you move your tournament deeper into what's kind of known around the country as championship week. Does that give you a little more play as far as eyeballs, people keeping tabs on the WCC?
Yeah, I think thanks for bringing that up, Dave. I should have mentioned that before. I think it does. I mean, sliding a little later in that week I think is a good thing. Although once you get to sort of Thursday, Friday, even Saturday, it gets pretty crowded. So I kind of like the space we have now where, on Tuesday night, it's kind of our space. It's before a lot of the other tournaments have started, but you're still deeper in the week. And both for Monday and Tuesday, we'll have great exposure. Our quarterfinal games, the two quarterfinal games will be shown on Saturday, our semis on Monday, and the finals on Tuesday are all on either ESPN or ESPN2. So no more ESPNU. So for those this year anyway, which means we'll have more eyeballs than ever on those games, and they should be, as I said, pretty competitive.
And I know you're always looking to push a few tickets, so I'll give you your pitch right now.
Well, thanks. Yeah, we generally don't have very many tickets this time of year, and we don't, but we do have a couple hundred books still available. So I would encourage anybody that's interested in making sure you get tickets and hotel rooms if you need them quickly. And you can go to the OrleansArena.com for that. That's the OrleansArena.com or WCCSports.com and look for the Championship Central page. Either of those pages will take you to where you can order your books for that week. It should be a great week.
Commissioner Jamie Zaninovich on the phone with us here on True Blue. Jamie, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your holiday. We will see you down the road.
Thanks, Dave. Good luck with the Cougars.